Good day everyone, my name is Jandiv Duldulao. I am currently taking my master's major in science education in FINMA Aurelio University. So today, I will be discussing my report entitled Roles of Technology in Delivering the Curriculum and the Tools to Assess the Curriculum. But first, let us have our objective. Number one, define technology's role in education. Second is to analyze how technology impacts curriculum delivery. And the third one is to explore tools for assessing curriculum effectiveness. First, let us define technology. What is technology? So for me, it is devices and machines that can make our work or task a lot easier and more faster. For example, gusto mong umattend ng isang seminar, pero gaganapin siya sa Manila or places na malayo sa'yo. So, may mga organizations na nagpo-provide ng online seminar, so we can grab that opportunity. Nakatipid na pa tayo sa pamasahe, hindi pa napagod yung katawan natin sa biyahe. So, this is one of the advantage that technology can provide to us. In terms of education, we can use the technology in various ways. For example, yung mga panahon natin noon, di ba po yung mga teachers natin is nagsusulat pa sila or nagdo-drawing pa sila sa Manila paper to show their topics and lessons to us. But now, through the help of technology, we can use PowerPoint presentation to create a different types of visual presentations just by clicking and manipulating the laptop instead of relying sa mga paper-based gumagamit talaga ng mga materials. Siyempre mahal din kasi yung mga materials, bibili ka pa, susulatan mo pa, nakakapagod. By the use of technology, it makes the work a lot easier. Now, who will benefit more in terms of technology? The teacher or the student? If you would ask me, ang talaga magbe-benefit dito is si teacher. Because si teacher, marami siyang task or works that needs technology. Aside sa PowerPoint presentations, teacher are using spreadsheet kasi doon na lang natin yung ilalagay yung mga grades ng mga bata, di ba? And then automatically, ma-generate na or makakalculate na yung grades nila. Without it, syempre, ang mangyayari sa teacher ngayon is kailangan pa nila isulat mano-mano sa paper, then i-compute yung mga grades ng mano-mano, which is super hirap. Now, let us talk about the positive and negative implications of technology in education. So for me, technology is a double-edged sword. When we're talking about the positive implications of it, of course, it can make our works a lot easier, faster, and more efficient. But the negative side of it is mas nagiging reliant tayo sa technology, which makes us lazy. Kasi si technology na lang yung lagi nating lalapitan. For example, yung mga bata sa panahon natin ngayon. Instead na mag-aral at sagutan yung kanilang assignment, so ang ginagawa nila, they go to different sites or applications that has an AI. Okay, yung AI na yung magsasagot ng assignment nila. So where is the learning? Nasaan na yung pagkatuto ng mga bata doon? Yun yung nawawala. So yun yung negative implications ng technology. So let us move on to our next topic, which is curriculum. So what is curriculum? So when we say curriculum, it is a sequence and organized plan of students learning in a specific amount of time. It answers the questions like what do the students learn? How do they learn it? And how do we assess the learning of the students? Sa curriculum, kasama rin po dito yung mga strategies na ginagawa ni teacher during class hour. For example, ako ang pinaka-strategy ko dyan is sa first day of class, sasabihin ko na agad sa mga students yung mga rules and regulations ko para malinaw yung mga guidelines na dapat nilang sundin. For example, state ko lahat ng mga bawal gawin. Like, bawal yung mahabay buhok, bawal yung masyadong naka-makeup, kailangan naka-uniform, bawal ang late, etc. The next type of curriculum is what we call as assessed curriculum. It is the tools that are used to assess the effectiveness of curriculum. Ito yung mga ginagamit natin to know if naging effective ba yung curriculum na ginamit natin. Marami bang mga bata ang natuto? May kailangan ba tayong baguhin? Let's move on to our next topic, which is the roles of technology in delivering the curriculum. So first we have accessibility. It refers to the inclusivity of the medium in learning. Like for example, nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, ano ba yung naging medium natin when it comes to learning? Ang naging medium natin doon ay devices such as smartphones and laptops. Isa sa mga applications na ginagamit noon ng pandemic is yung ginagamit natin ngayon as a mode of discussion, which is yung Google Meet. The other one is the Zoom. So parang pares lang din sila. What they do is they create a virtual classroom na kung saan lahat tayo makikita natin yung isa't isa through the use of smartphones or other devices that has a camera. So through this, kayang mag-discuss ni teacher, kayang makinig ni student. So nagkakaroon tayo ng synchronous discussion kahit na malayo tayo at nasa bahay tayo. And that is one of the biggest advantage that technology can provide to us. Next is engagement and motivation. It talks about the interactions that happens between the students and the teachers. It answers the questions like, nakikinig pa ba si student? Natututo ba siya sa topic mo? Or nag-enjoy ba siya sa discussion mo? So dito po siya nakapaloob. Engagement and motivation is one of the important things or elements in teaching. Kasi kung ang bata ay hindi nag-enjoy, hindi interesado sa tinuturo mo, hindi sila natututo. One of the example is, ngayon tayo, yung ginagawa nating discussion sa Google Meet. For sure, yung ibang teachers ay may mga ginagawang ibang gawain. Like, yung iba nagpa-Facebook siguro, TikTok, or work, ibang trabaho. Which is, nangyayari talaga. Because there is no motivation, there is no engagement. So, how do we motivate the students? Paano natin makukuha yung attentions nila? So, sa mga online platforms, may mga different applications sila na ginagamit to gamify the activities or the learning of the students. For example, yung paggamit ng quizzes and Kahoot applications, sila yung mga types ng mga assessment that aside from assessing the learning of the students, they somehow create a gamified version of it. For examples, meron silang mga power-ups and then leaderboards na pinapakita sa mga students while answering the questions. This way, mas nag-enjoy yung mga students na magsagot because while answering the quiz, they can feel somehow that they are playing a game. So the next topic would be collaboration and communication. It refers to the interactions that happens between two or more students. It happens when they are sharing their thoughts and ideas to create something. Di ba po may kasabihan tayong two heads are better than one? Same concept applies to the student. Kung ang mga student ay nagtutulungan, nagko-collaborate at mayroong magandang communication, magkakaroon sila ng feedback sa isa't isa wherein ay yun yung dahilan or yun yung magbibigay ng improvement sa output na ginagawa nila. For example, sa roleplay, malalaman nila students ay ganito pala umaking. Ito pala yung dapat natin gamiting props para umangkop tayo sa tema. Si ganito pala dapat yung pinili nating actor kasi mas mag-fit yung character niya sa kanya. So before we proceed to our next topic, let us have a quick check para malaman ko kung talagang nakakasunod kayo or nakikinig kayo sa discussion ko. Okay? So alam niyo po ba yung trending na put a finger down? So same concept lang po yung gagawin natin dito sa quick check natin. Okay? Kapag po yung binanggit kong statement ay na-apply nyo during your discussion, during your class, ibababa nyo po yung finger. Okay? Taas po natin yung kamay natin. So first is statement. I use PowerPoint presentations and audiovisual informations to enhance my discussion. Second is, I utilize applications like ZipGrade and quizzes to assess student learning. Third is, I am proficient in using various online applications such as Zoom and Google Meet during synchronous classes. Next is number 4, I can employ digital applications to replace traditional tools like protractors, rulers, and more. Next is, I use informational videos to help students visualize the topics that I discuss. So, ayan. 1 point po yung nakuha ko. So, let us assess kung saan tayo nafo-fall. So, kapag nakakuha po kayo ng 0 to 2 fingers up, ibig sabihin kayo po ay tech wizard. Ibig sabihin, lagi nyo pong ginagamit or ina-apply yung technology sa inyong pagtuturo. Pag naman po kayo nakakuha ng 3 fingers up, ibig sabihin po kayo po ay tech buddy. You are somehow using some of the technologies to integrate it in your classroom. Kapag naman po ang nakuha nyo ay 4 to 5 fingers up, ibig sabihin kayo po ay traditional teacher. Ibig sabihin po ay na-lock up na kayo sa pagiging traditional teacher na as in hindi po gumagamit ng kahit na anong technology in your classroom. Okay, let us move on to our next topic which is about tools to assess a curriculum. So, assessing the curriculum is the most crucial part of the learning process of the students because it ensures the students' learning outcomes. Dito nakapaloob kung talaga bang natuto si students or dito natin malalaman kung meron pa tayong dapat improve or baguhin sa ating curriculum. So let us discuss the different types of assessment tools. The first one would be anecdotal records. Is the written accounts of a teacher's observations. So dito nakapaloob yung mga observation ni teacher sa isang classroom. For example, nagpa-participate ba lahat ng students? Mataas ba yung mga nakukuha nilang scores? Nakikater ba lahat ng types of learners? Next is checklist. It refers to the list of criteria that the students need to attain. It is answerable by yes or no. So para siyang survey questionnaire wherein sa bawat boxes nakalagay doon yung mga objectives na kailangan magawa ng bata. For example, identify the materials that can float or sink in the water. If na-attain siya ng bata, edi i-check mo yes. If no, edi no yung i-check mo sa box. The next one is the rating scales. The difference of the rating scales between checklist is that rating scales has a more broad choices. Parang ito talaga yung mga survey questionnaires na sinasagutan natin sa mga research. For example, dito nakalagay yung mga statements na wherein kailangan nating i-rate. Yung like, if it is strongly agree or disagree, and so on. So, nakapabilang siya sa rating scales. The last one would be the rubrics. So, the rubrics provide a more precise scoring of students' performance than simple checklists or rating scales. Kasi doon sa rubrics, nakapaloob yung mga dapat ma-attain ng bata to get a specific score. So, ginagamit po yung rubrics sa performance task or product-based assessment para hindi maging subjective yung mga teachers when it comes to scoring them. And that would be all for my report. Thank you for listening. So this would be our assessment question. And this would be our related video.
Maraming hamon at problema pero kahanga-hanga ang dedikasyon ng mga guro, mga estudyante at mga magulang para patuloy na makapag-aral ang mga bata sa kabila ng sitwasyon. Yan ang tinutukan ni Cedric Castillo.
Tuloy ang flag ceremony sa Lagos Central Elementary School sa General Santos City. Pero walang estudyante sa paligid. Lahat kasi nasa bahay para sa blended learning. Si teacher nagmamonitor sa kanyang mga estudyante sa pamamagitan ng pagtawag sa cellphone.
What module are you answering now?
24 na milyong estudyante sa mga pampublikong elementary at high school ang nagsimula ng kanilang online o modular na mga klase ngayong araw at lahat nga nanganganay. Tulad ng batang ito sa Maynila na kahit wala sa classroom, alerto sa mga sinasabi ni teacher habang nag-online class.
Opo, teacher. Meron po, teacher.
Sa monitor ng computer na lang din muna siya nagbabasa, hindi tulad noon na sa blackboard.
I'm sorry, Tono and Dino. There is traffic jam ahead.
Swerte ang mga estudyante sa Angeles City sa Pampanga na kasama sa mga nakatanggap ng 55,000 tablets na ipinamigay ng lokal na pamahalaan. Pero ang mga walang gadget o di kaya'y walang signal sa module kailangang kumapit. Sa Bontoc Mountain Province, tuloy-tuloy ang pamamahagi ng mga guro ng learning modules. Ganito rin ang sitwasyon sa Lopez Elementary School sa barangay Batong Malaki sa Los Baños, Laguna. Sabi ni Teacher Irma Valenzuela, siniguro nila na naihatid na nila ang mga learning modules sa mga estudyante.
Meron po tayong mga kiosk sa mga paaralan at humingi din po tayo ng tulong sa mga barangay. Doon po nila kinukuha ang module ng kanilang mga anak.
Bukod sa mga modular materials, radyo at telebisyon naman ang ginamit sa klase sa high school students sa Lawag City.
So daling makinig para sa mga iba't ibang kaganapan para sa inyong pag-aaral.
Masaya naman daw si Deputy Secretary Leonor Briones at dapat i-congratulate hindi lang ang kagawaran para sa pagbubukas ng klase.
Hindi namin ito magawang successful launching kung walang tulong ang buong bansa.
Pero kahit nagsimula na ang mga klase, sabi ng kalihim, patuloy silang tatanggap ng enrollees hanggang Nobyembre.
Kaya nga nagkukulang kami ng mga modules dahil may mga late enrollees. Ang mga bata sa St. Martin pwede mag-enroll sila hanggang November.
Hindi naman daw nila itinatanggi na may mga challenge pa rin silang kinakaharap. Dagdag pa ni Briones, magkakaroon ng evaluation ang kagawaran kaugnay sa blended learning.
We are going to assess, as I said, monitor, alam namin ang mga developments, alam namin ang mga challenges, pero yung overall assessment, gagawin yan kasi malapit na ang katapusan ng ating third quarter. Kung anong resulta ng assessment na yan, will always be made public.
Halos pareho ang assessment at evaluation kung titingnan ninyo, subalit nagkakaiba sila sa intention. Halimbawa, ang assessment ay ginagawa mo kasi ang tinitignan mo is the process of learning, how learning is taking place. Samantalang, ang evaluation ay tinitignan mo ang product of learning, which is how much learning has happened or what has the learner learned. So, therefore, sa assessment, ang ginagawa mo ay hinahanap mo ang strength at weakness kasi ang intention mo is to improve the learning process. Samantalang sa evaluation, ang binibigay mo ay judgment. Kaya nagbibigay na ng grade, kaya pwede na mag-sort at mag-rank. Kasi ang binibigay na natin ay judgment. Kasi ang tinitingnan na natin is the product of the learning process, which is the competency that the learner is able to demonstrate. So tatandaan natin, pag-assessment yan, that's just process-oriented, how learning is taking place. Ang tinitingnan mo ay ang quality ng learning that is happening at hinahanap mo ang strength at weaknesses na nakikita mo sa learning process. Kasi ang mahalaga sa'yo dito ay ma-evaluate yung learning process at ma-improve ang learning process. Para bagang ang sinasabi natin dito is assessment for learning. Nag-a-assess ka para mas matuto yung learner. Samantalang sa evaluation, ang binibigay mo ay judgment. At yung judgment na yan ay sa pagtingin mo sa product of the learning, which is the competency. Anong natutunan? What learning that has occurred. Yun ang titignan mo. Kaya dahil sa judgment na yan, you're able to give a grade. And the grade is able, will enable the teacher to rank, to sort. Yun ang pwede na niyang gawin. Kasi ang tinitignan na nga niya is yung quantitative aspect of the learning that has taken place. Ito yung assessment of learning. Assessment ng learning, kaya nag-create ka na ng judgment, and such judgment is important in differentiating the intention of the teacher, whether she's assessing, looking at the process, or she is actually evaluating, looking at the product of learning. Sana nakatulong sa inyo ang video na to.